Okay, guys, welcome to episode 52. Today, I have one of my best friends, Mr. James Shaw. What's going on?
Not much, man.
Do you know you can adjust your volume from here, yeah? If you
I'm loud enough in my own mind.
Are you loud? Is it too loud? Is it too loud?
It's good.
You and your own thoughts. Is this weird?
It's so weird, man. I feel like the whole neighborhood can hear us, but they can't.
They can't. It's just us. It's just us, bro. In your back garden in
Mossville.
I should know that. I did put it in the maps. How you doing?
Yeah, right. I've been speaking to you the whole day. You know how I'm doing.
Cheers.
James Bogue's premium lager.
Is that video recording?
I hope so.
I hope so. All right, wicked. So, for you guys that don't know James Shaw is number one of my best friends. He's also one of James Smith's best friends. He's also the brainiac, the app builder, the Terminator, the genius, the Mr. Other James in the James Smith Academy.
The second JS.
The second JS.
The JS equation.
Oh shit, it is JS.
Yeah, it's the JS equation, mate.
That's mad. So James Shaw is the weirdest and most smartest person I do know, actually.
I don't think so. I think you probably know some smarter people.
Nah, who?
Scott.
Scott's smart, but he's different smart.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
He's different smart. Your sort of smart is...
Like a smarty?
You're like a guy that did personal training and learned how to code on YouTube and then built a crazy business on an app with James Smith. So to me, that's ridiculous.
Curious.
It's very curious.
No, I'm curious. Not smart, curious.
You're curious.
Yeah.
There must be a link. There must be a link to it then.
Yeah, I think if you're curious about anything, you go quite hard at it.
Well, bruv, you're smart enough to be sitting in a nice house in the countryside in Australia.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So you're doing good.
We're doing good, mate. We're doing all right.
So me and James Shaw met in the gym. Do you remember how we met?
Yeah, I think I was doing a squat.
Yes, you were.
And I saw you approaching me and I thought, oh shit, this guy's gonna fucking talk to me. And then you fucking talked to me and I was like, oh, he thinks he's a gangster, but he's not.
So that's pretty much exactly what happened.
Yeah, it is. That's exactly what happened.
Because you remember Adriana, yeah?
Yeah.
So she was like, oh, this new guy signed up. He's a new PT.
Yeah.
He's from England. I was like, thank fuck, someone British. I was like, where is he?
Yeah.
And I just, like you said, I just walked up to you. How you doing, man?
Yeah.
And James Shaw's like, the way he spoke to me, like his face was like, move the fuck away from me. I'm training. But I am that guy that doesn't care about that.
I'm glad you said hello, bro.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said hello.
And I'm more like, so how's your session, bro?
Yeah.
I am that guy.
Yeah, it's good.
But now we're here. What, 4 years later?
Mate. Is it 4 years?
Is it 4 years?
It's yeah, I think.
Or is it nearly 4 years?
No, it's over 4 years. I think it's almost over 4 years.
That's mental.
JSA's been 4 years this November, so it's been over 4 years.
That is crazy. So James Shaw was actually. Tell us where you're actually from, because you've been all over the place. You've been all over the place.
Yeah, no, I was born in Cheltenham.
Were you born in Cheltenham?
I was born in Cheltenham, near like where Lord's from and all those guys.
How do I not know that?
I don't know.
Why did I think you were born in Birmingham?
No, I was born in Cheltenham.
Did you live in the Midlands?
Mate, yeah, I temporarily lived everywhere.
Yeah,
for like a portion of my life. No, I was born in Cheltenham, then we moved to Nottingham, then Wales, then I moved to the States with my dad.
So why were you all over the place then?
Parents split. Dad moved all over for his job.
Yeah.
And Mum went to live with her parents, which is why I ended up in Nottingham.
What does your dad do?
He's a mechanical engineer. I mean, he's finished with work now. He's had enough.
But he travelled.
Yeah, he travelled. He worked for Xerox.
Oh, sick guy.
And Xerox has a big, it was their main factory and sort of production area in Rochester, New York. So that's why I moved there.
Now, you have how many siblings?
I've got half siblings, step-sibling. I've got sister, step-brother, step-sister, 2 step-sisters and a half-brother. And
they're all smart, aren't they?
Well, I don't know.
Like one's a doctor.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, they're smart. Of course, they're smart. I don't think any of us are geniuses. I mean,
Like, I feel like your gene pool comes from like.
I think most people are pretty smart, to be honest. I just think it's whether they decide to apply themselves and whether they find something they enjoy doing, which determines they're successful. If they're successful in the outcome.
Mate,
like some people could argue that you're a genius in what you do.
That'd be a huge compliment to me. Boy.
No, but they could do. I mean, people who are extremely successful in one sort of field, they're very intelligent at what they do. I mean, they see things that other people can't see, and that in itself is probably defined as intelligence, right?
See what I'm saying? He just says things like that. That's how you know he's a smart guy. That's how you know he's a smart guy, bro. He's a wise guy. He's a wise guy. James Shaw is a year older than me, right? But it feels like your maturity level is...
You're 92.
Born in 92. You're 91.
I'm 91, yeah.
But I feel like because you travelled so much and you did so much from a young age, I feel like you're kind of past the phase of... I guess all the shit that me and Smith are kind of still doing, you know?
You've done it in reverse.
I did it in reverse.
Yeah, I was I mean, I kind of naturally progressed through childhood and then into like, you know, kind of crazy stage in your teens, and then continued that probably until early 20s. Whilst you were a good boy.
I was
all the way up until, I don't know, 20s, and then you were a bad man.
yeah.
I did it the right way around.
Yeah.
You did it the other way around.
I was sensible. I was saving.
Yeah, you were saving, man. I haven't saved a penny till recently. Yeah.
I was training. I wouldn't have a drink.
Yeah,
I didn't do anything.
Yeah,
until 24.
That's all right, though, man.
It's all right.
Doesn't matter what.
It's working out.
It does, man. As long as you satisfy whatever urge you're having at the time. Which was just to experience a little bit of freedom and sort of see what the world's like outside of, you know, just going through the steps which everyone else has been assigned. So
right, which is what we think we should be doing. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, it's whatever we perceive that we think we should be doing. I mean, it depends. It's hard to know whether. I think a lot of expectations are put on people, you know, everybody by their parents and society, but maybe that's how we perceive those expectations. Maybe they're not really there, and we just feel like we need to because everyone else is. I don't know.
Do you feel like that pressure doesn't allow people to express what they want to do, you know? Yeah,
I mean...
Did you feel that pressure when you were younger?
When I was very young, I was a bit of a rebel, though. By the age of 14, I was just like, my dad was like, I've lost control of this guy.
Really?
He's a nutcase, yeah.
What's an example of rebel? What's an example of like, what did you do? What happened? Mate, if you don't mind talking about it.
No, I don't mind talking about it. Oh, jeez.
Tell me a story, bruv. While I'm sipping on my beer.
I'll just do a very PG rated one. Like, the classic rebel, like, you know, come home by 10. Mm-hmm. All right, home by 10. Wait for everyone to go to sleep, then jump out the window and go onto the roof and climb down from the roof and go out with my mates again.
What do you do at 14 at 10 in the night, bruv, in the Midlands?
It wasn't Midlands, that was in America.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was in America.
So how was America different compared to the UK? So in essence, you went to high school.
Yeah, man, I went more than high school. I think end of primary, middle school, and high school in America.
And then you went to uni in the
England,
UK.
Yeah. And then I went to uni in England because, like, mate, like I said, that was the point of my life where I was just drifting, mate. So I could have gone anywhere. I mean, my mum, at that time, I'd finished, I'd come out of the army because that's what I thought I was going to do. Yeah. And I was going to re-enlist, but at that time, my mum was like, like, maybe you should, like, do a degree. I'm like, yeah, but I don't really know what. Like, I don't really like anything. Like, I'm interested in lots of things. I don't really know what I'm truly interested in. And she said, I'll do sports science. And I was
At that point, did you enjoy training?
Yeah, I still enjoyed going to the gym. And she was like, oh, well, then do sports science. I mean, it's a fairly logical conclusion. I mean, you like training, and so maybe you can study about training, but I didn't like sports science.
You didn't like sports science, but you liked training, but you loved bodybuilding at that time, right?
Yeah, I loved bodybuilding.
You were big.
I was bigger than I was now, that's for sure.
Can you tell the people listening how big? Kilos.
I think that was during strongman, which is slightly different. I think the max weight was maybe like 115, 120 between that range.
Kilos.
And
you're 6'2"?
Yeah, I think slightly over, like between 6'2" and 6'3".
He was massive. I've seen
pictures.
Pretty
big, yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I used to work on the door then as well.
How old were you when you were working on the door?
That would have been about, when did I move to England? It was like between 19 and 20, 22, 23. Yeah, 23, I think, yeah.
23, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So going from America, going to high school and stuff, at some point, did your accent, like...
I used to change it.
You used to change it?
I used to be able to change it, man.
What, you like switch it on
Bro,
and off?
No, it's hilarious, right? Because that's why my accent's so hard to pick. People are like, oh, where are you from? Like, everywhere, man. Because I've lived in England, Australia, and America. So, like, my accent's really, like, it's a real mix of everything. And when I used to go home to my dad, I used to speak an English accent. And then I used to go to my mates, and I used to speak an American accent. And then when my dad and my mates were together in the same room, I just wouldn't say anything because I didn't know what accent to do it in. I feel like I don't want them to find out that I'm speaking. They didn't know I used to speak in the other accent. Some weird, like, two lives I was living. It was strange, man.
You must have had an element of confusion then.
No, of course, bro. Because, like, I spent a lot of my life traveling around, like, with my parents, like, moving into new areas, blah, 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 integrating into new circles.
Yeah.
I just wanted to blend in.
Yeah.
I don't want to be noticed. So the easiest, if you're English and you're going to America, you stick out like a sore thumb. The English accent contrasts very hard with the American accent. It's like, oh, do you play Quidditch? Like, it was fun. Mate, honestly, people used to ask me dumb questions like
Really?
that. Yeah, so I just picked up the American accent. I was young and it was easy enough to...
Thought it would have been a great opportunity to, like, you know, with the ladies and that.
Yeah, they did like it, but at that point in my life, I was more interested in just fitting in than getting with the ladies.
You're just, and I know this because I know you very well, you like to stay low-key.
Yeah, I was low-key for sure. But then...
Were you even more low-key then?
In high school, our high school was a cool place. Like, I wouldn't say it was like the classic American high school where, like, jocks ruled and blah, blah, blah. I mean, it was just, like, I was mates with everyone in high school. Like, I wasn't not mates with anyone. I was mates with all different groups, like the more nerdy kids. And
Yeah.
I used to play sports still, although at first it wasn't very good. You know when you're growing and your limbs grow faster than your nervous system, you can't catch anything. Someone just throws something, it just hits you in the head, and you're
no
like,
motor skills.
Yeah. So I was still mates with anyone who played sports. So yeah, that high school. I loved high school, man. I liked school in general. Like not actually the school side of it, but I had a great experience at school, man. It was fun. I had a lot of fun in school.
Would you follow the rules?
Nah.
You wouldn't at all.
I got hoops. I got loads of detentions, all sorts of stuff, man.
Because what's interesting to me is, like, you're someone that's, like, so intelligent. You may not think that, but I know he is. And intelligent in his way at your craft, which you love doing. You love creating and you love solving problems.
Yeah.
Right? So I can see where you're going to be in the next 10, 15 years. Right?
Jeez, tell me, man.
Bruv, you are, and I said this to so many people, right? When we were working in Jewel Street, I was like, this guy, yeah, he's going to be that weird motherfucker, yeah, like Elon Musk.
I'm not going to be like Elon, bloody. He's next level, mate.
Yeah, but you've got that same sort of cool weirdness, charismatic, genius, creative, problem solver.
Well, that's
thing.
very flattering.
Do you know what I'm trying to say, though?
I hope I actually live into those shoes.
The pressure's on now. You better live up
Jesus.
to it. So, James Shaw, at the time when we were working in Fitness First, this is before, like, I guess you became friends or business partners with Smith. Before that, Shaw stopped working at Jewel Street because he was actually done with training people. He was done. And he wasn't the best with communicating. Like, you didn't enjoy it.
No, I was blunt with it because I find it tiring having to motivate people who didn't really themselves even want to do it. Like, I'm quite happy to motivate people occasionally, or when I see that they're actually into what they're doing. But having to hold hands for just so many people, I was like, what's wrong with people? Like,
Yeah.
I myself am searching for what I want to do.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to be giving you motivation when I'm trying to motivate myself to find my way in life. Like, it's draining.
No, I get it.
It's draining. So at that point, I was like, I'm over it.
At this point, Shaw was also going to college to get
That was for a student visa.
visa.
Yeah.
Where he was so done with booking in people, because if you're a personal trainer, any personal trainers that's listening to this, you know, you spend like all weekend booking in sessions with your clients. Like, what time are you free on Monday? All of this shit, right? Shaw was so sick of this that he built an online booking system so he didn't have to communicate.
Mate, that's how the whole thing started.
That's how it started, right?
It all started just because I wanted to minimize the amount of time I was wasting just doing trivial admin tasks. Like, I mean, booking in people was a pain. I mean, because if someone's like, oh, I can't do that time, and then you're like, oh, but I can do that time. And I'm like, how about we just lay out all the times that are available, someone take one, and then the others will be able to see what's available and what's not. And then it's a much more easier solution than like trying to handle it yourself. So that's when I went on to Squarespace, set up a basic JSA site.
Yeah.
And used Acuity Scheduling, which was the software at the time.
Which is like, what I'm trying to say is, that's why you're a problem solver. You thought, this is a problem. I need to create simplicity with this, minimize admin,
reduce time,
and solve this problem.
Yeah,
like, the thought process in your head, hence why, like, what I see is like the most successful people are people that like to solve problems and make things easier for people. Not only did you make it easier for yourself, but for your client.
Oh, yeah, definitely easier for my clients. Yeah,
which, that spark alone.
And they could pay for it then as well.
Yeah.
It's way easier.
And now you're doing that at a whole different level. So the last session James Shaw did, I was there, right? It was about 6 or 7 p.m. in the evening. It was a PT session.
Yeah.
Shaw was training with one of his old clients.
Mm-hmm.
He looked at him. He nodded his head. He shaked his head. He looked at me, and I just saw him walk away. And I went up to him, and I was like, what's going on? He goes, I'm done. He left the gym, and that was it. And he started his IT career, I guess.
Yeah,
you know?
That was probably the end of it, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a long time coming, though. Like, I ended up not actually hardly training anyone in that gym towards the end. It was more, when you think about sort of the layers in that gym, there was customers who were people training, and then there was PTs feeding off those customers for their business. Mm-hmm. But then I had a new level where I was feeding off the business, the PTs for their business, and I wasn't actually interacting with customers. So
yeah,
I was sort of paying rent to the gym so I could access their PTs because I was building all their websites.
Yeah, you were.
They were very rudimentary websites. I mean, I didn't know what I was doing. I just learned. I know what I needed at the time. They saw that was useful, and they asked for the same thing on their website. So I just was like, all right, cool. I'll give it a go. I mean, I won't charge you hardly anything because I don't really know what I'm doing. And then they wanted more specific stuff. So I was like, wow, Squarespace only has so much functionality. It's not that flexible. It's pretty flexible, but it wasn't at the time. So then that's when I learned how to program, because I was like, well, these people want this thing, this color.
Yeah.
It's not an option on Squarespace, so we have to program it. That's how it all started.
And I remember you were watching shit on YouTube, and you were going to college, but you weren't really learning there. You were learning stuff off YouTube and shit, right?
I learned through practice, like anything. I mean, yeah, I think most people can learn most things if they have a good application for it. Like, if your life depends on it, which it pretty much bloody did at that time.
Yeah.
I was like, I have to learn how to do something else.
Because you had no money.
No money, man.
I remember you had no money. You had no money.
Zero money.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd blown all my money in Asia, and then I worked in demolition. Then when I worked in PR, I had no clients, so I had no money. So I was like, I got to make this work.
Yeah.
I had to make this work. And I did find it interesting, like, because for most people, computers are unknown. Yeah. And I get very curious about things which are unknown. Yeah. Which is, I kind of tend to gravitate towards things which are unknown. So that's why I really enjoyed programming at first, for sure, because I was like, this is a mystery to me.
But you know what? I knew it. When you started, yeah, I just knew it. I was like, this guy's going to be a freak at this. And close to that point, James Smith came to me and he told me about his business idea, about the JSA. And when he said that, first thing I said to Smith was, I've got the right guy for you.
Good thing you said that, man.
I said, I've got the guy for you.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And then you guys knew each other, but I kind of nudged you guys together.
I don't think I really knew him that well. I mean, because unfortunately, James was the most popular guy in George Street.
No, he wasn't.
And I wasn't really there much because
wasn't,
I wasn't taking part in the politics of the PT locker room.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I had nothing against him. I had no prejudice. I didn't even know him, so I was happy to meet him. And
Yeah.
yeah.
And then it just took off from there. It's weird because when people ask me about this, I'm always like...
Well, James was very good. Like, he was very... What's the word? He was very trusting. Like, he just said to me, he just wanted a website which basically took the videos that he was putting on social media and sort of videos which expanded on the messages that he was delivering on social media.
Yeah. And
he wanted to just sort of charge people a subscription of like £20 a month to access those videos. And I was like, all right, I guess I can do that. But he was very trusting. Like, I was just like, all right, I reckon it will be this much. And then I realized around that time, I was like, all right, I need a little bit more money so I can keep going.
Yeah.
And he never really asked to see it. And he was just kind of, like, he's very trusting. He's like, this is my idea. And I was like, all right, I'll build it. And that's how kind of, it still is like that. Like, James doesn't even, if you said to James, can you tell me every feature on the app? He'd be like, I don't really know. I just kind of know, like, the business, and I trust James Shaw to do the right thing. And I just kind of build the product, and he doesn't really, like, the overall business is the same. All we did was took his online personal training and
made it more functional
made sure it could scale past the number of people that he currently had on his online program.
Yeah.
And all the little features and stuff, he doesn't know. It doesn't matter to him. Like, I build it, and we've always had that relationship, and that's why we get along so well. And we've got a very good business relationship because I don't step on his toes. I don't pretend to know about marketing. I'm rubbish at marketing. Yeah. I'm rubbish at social media, and you know, I'm more.
That's why it works well.
Totally, you need a good dynamic in business with someone. You can't. I think it's very hard to have a business partner who is good at the same thing as you are, because you will end up locking horns for sure.
100%. And it's weird, like, when that happened, when I told him about you and you about him, it's like I manifested. I kind of knew I was going to kind of fit in as like a coach or something.
Yeah, definitely.
And it was amazing for me because it created an online income for me.
Yeah, it's done that for a lot of people, I think.
For a lot of people, which it does now, because now you guys have... Because how long was I with you guys for? Like, I started helping you guys. I was working in
with
the
us
gym.
for a year.
So a solid year and a bit.
I'd say, yeah, maybe more. The whole time you were traveling.
Yeah, traveling, yeah. And then I took off on my own and did my own thing. And now the JSA is still... It's getting better and better.
It is, yeah. And we have good people around us. I mean, none of us would be successful if we weren't around people who were sort of helping us work on our weaknesses. And a lot of people say, like, oh, you know, work on your weaknesses. But I think you should probably just double down on your strengths and get people to help you on your weaknesses.
Yeah.
Because, to be honest, I'm never going to be good at social media.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you probably could be good at programming. You don't want to be good at programming. I don't want to be good at social media.
Exactly.
Like, it's not to say that people can't do stuff. It's just everyone has, like, a natural tendency in life to gravitate towards something. And that's what you gravitate towards, and that's what I gravitate towards.
And I think one of your strong points is you're a great business person.
Right? I'm all right. Like,
but that's happened through learning.
It's through logic. Like, to me, business is very broad. Like, I think you can be good in some areas of business and bad in others. For example, James and Luke, and yourself, you're somewhere in between James and Luke. James and Luke have, like, a positive, sort of abundant mindset of everything will be all right, everything will work out.
Yeah.
And because of that, they can perhaps see opportunity that I couldn't see. My business acumen lies in the fact that I can make things work kind of despite the situation. Like, if there's a problem, I'll be able to figure it out. Or if we get into a tough situation, I can usually help dig us out.
Yeah.
But that's a different business skill ability. It's kind of like a flexibility to what James and Luke have. So I'm all right at business. I guess I'm just a problem solver, and I apply that to business.
You apply that to business, but you calculate
the
worst scenario as well, don't you?
Yeah, which is not a good thing always. I mean,
but it balances it out.
Totally. Yeah, we obviously discussed this the other weekend, but it's definitely. I mean, obviously James and Luke and those guys are very good at that side of business, and also their mentality is different to mine. I mean, I'm pretty risk averse, not majorly. I mean, because if I was super risk averse, I think about this. If I was very risk averse, I wouldn't. So when we started the JSA, I actually had a job offer at that same time. I don't know if you know this.
I do. I remember.
I had a job offer at the same time from a company saying, "Hey, do you want to come and be a programmer for us?"
$80K a year or something.
And it was like, it was like safe income, and I actually was like, nah, I'm going to continue doing this thing that I have no idea if it'll work. So I'm kind of, I'm more risk averse than the other guys, which is good, but it's also good that they're not as risk averse, or they're more risk.
Out.
Yeah, that's right.
I think it's in you, but also at that moment of time, you had nothing. Therefore, you had nothing to lose.
That's the difference. That makes such an impact.
And it makes an impact with anyone in any scenario. If you've got nothing to lose, you're kind of going to go for the one that you hope's going to be the best outcome.
Yeah.
Because you can always go and get a standard job, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And so there'll be people listening to this that always go for the safer option. And there's nothing wrong with going for the safer option.
No.
But if you have a gut feeling, right? And I'm sure you would have had a good gut feeling before you made that decision.
Yeah, I followed my intuition. I try to follow my intuition.
Yeah.
You have to. I mean, yeah, it's tough. I mean, because a lot of time decisions are made out of fear. But I think you just need to kind of set that fear aside sometimes and think about it for a bit of time and think, oh, is this fear or is... Mate, my mum's a great risk taker. My mum's business.
She's a business person as well, isn't she?
Massively, yeah. So she ended up, her and my stepdad, they ended up buying, like, over many years, I forgot how many petrol stations they ended up with, maybe 7 or 8. Petrol stations. Yeah, they just over... But the first one they bought, they put the house on it. They had all of his kids, 4 children.
Oh, fuck.
A tiny little house in north of England, and they've gambled the house on the first thing, and that's a big risk, man. But they thought it's either going to be this or it's going to be the safe option, and I guess they thought the reward outweighed the risk of just staying. And there's nothing wrong with the safe option, but I guess inherently in me there is a bit of risk taking, but not as much as some of the other people I'm with. But that's good because they'll probably take me to a level that I would never achieve on my own. I would just happily just tinker around solving problems all day.
But you know what? You need to take risks, right? If you want big things to happen, you need to take risk. You can. I think by playing the safe option, I think it's very rare that people achieve really crazy things, because at the end of the day, you kind of got to step outside your comfort zone. Like a lot of the times when I do things, I'm pretty uncomfortable initially, and then you kind of find your feet and you grow from that, right? I guess it's like stress. You can grow from stress, right?
You figure things out. I think most people figure things out. Yeah. Like, I don't think, mate, I can't imagine. I mean, it'd be pretty bad for me to be like, all right, I give up.
But you know what? People do that.
I know. Yeah, I know. But like, that would have to be pretty bad for me to be like, I give up. Because you can always call on other people to help you as well. I mean,
do you reckon ego gets in the way of people doing that?
Yeah, you need to have a bit of humility. You need to be able to be like, I can't do this. But that's a good thing, man. Like no one learned anything on their own. Like, when you were born, the day you were born, you started learning from your parents. Like you learn everything you know today
from someone.
Yeah, apart from like innate kind of habitual things, most things are learned. I mean, so why do people have a problem with asking for help and learning things from other people? It's unusual.
It is unusual.
It's unusual. I mean, as you get older, you kind of close your mind off and you think, oh, I know enough now. That's why I'm doing jiu-jitsu next week. So
yeah, there you go.
I think it's important, and this is a realization from what I talked the other day, that it's important as you get older to continue to put yourself in situations which are a little bit uncomfortable, because not because, you know, you need to be strong and grow, but purely because it forces you to maintain an open mind and outlook on things, and that's important. I would never do jiu-jitsu if you guys weren't doing it and told me to do it. I'd be like,
Yeah.
That's not me. How do I know it's not me? I've never tried it.
So I'm saying you're dropping what you think Shaw should say
it's bad.
to something that who you, the present self or whatever, would just go ahead and do it. You don't mind talking about last week, do you? What we did.
No.
So on the last episode when I spoke with Charles and we did psychedelics, Shaw was also there. He also did it as well, and you learned some new things about yourself, right? You said it was very spiritual for you as well.
Yeah, it was interesting. It's like in the past I've done them when you go to Amsterdam, and you know everyone has truffles and you have a little giggle, and it's nothing
See some shapes and shit.
Nothing harmful. But this time, and I kind of expected the same thing, and like it was just, you know, kind of going to be a relaxing day, but it was far from relaxing. It was actually I had to Google the science behind the chemical within mushrooms because I was so curious as to like why did you have these kind of insights, and what they believe is that it connects parts of the brain which are usually not connected. So the rational part of your mind, this is obviously a theory, I don't know if they know it for sure, is more connected to the emotional side, or the rational side actually kind of downregulated. So it was almost like I was able to rationally interpret my emotions, which is something that never happens, because when you're emotional, you're not rational. And when you're rational, you're often not emotional. But I was able to rationally interpret my emotions. So I was able to see why I was feeling certain ways and acting in a certain particular way. And it was unusual. I mean, yeah, I kind of...
You came out with a very positive outcome.
Bro, it's permanently affected me in a positive manner. It's insane. Like, it made me so aware of how judgmental I am of myself and of other people, that I was just like... The only person being judgmental of myself and other people was affecting is me. Like it's
a reflection of us, right? Sometimes, like what
totally. Yeah, I think it is. I think, yeah, but it was profound. Like, I think, it was a soul searching kind of thing. It's permanently, and I've talked to lots of people about it, and they seem to have a similar outlook. Like. That it's permanently affected them in a positive manner. I mean, obviously, it's permanently affected other people in a very negative manner. So it's one of these things that I'm like, would I suggest it to everyone? I don't know if I would, because I think if it was going to be something that I would suggest to everyone, I think there would have to be like no risk of a negative outcome, and I think that is a risk of a negative outcome. I think people who aren't in a sound mental state of mind definitely should not touch them. And I think, I think there are countries that are looking to decriminalize it. I don't really have a strong view either way of that. I mean, just from my own experience, it's extremely confronting. And if you're not in a sound frame of mind, then you might have a bad experience. We know someone who's had a bad experience, don't we?
We do. But you know what? It's just like anything. It's a bit of a risk, and I think that's why I'm glad I did it at this age, when I feel like I'm mature. I have kind of a path that I'm kind of know where I'm heading towards, and it was nice to get a bit of clarity and go a little bit deeper within myself. And it's so hard to sometimes do that when you have so many distractions, which is why I love where you live right now. And
there's no distractions.
There's no distractions. We're currently sitting in his garden, and it's nice and quiet.
It's calm, yeah.
And it's really motivated me to one day, have a place like this. Maybe get married. I don't know. Let's see what happens. Shaw's married, by the way.
I'm married
with a lovely wife, Claire.
Yeah, she'll be watching.
She'll be hearing.
New Amsterdam or something.
Yeah.
Smashing it. Just smashing through it. Ripping through one episode after another. Dopamine.
Yeah.
She loves it.
Yeah, and it's it was a really cool experience. Now, you've done a lot of traveling.
Yeah.
right? And when I've seen you at your happiest, other than the wedding day, let's not say that too loud.
Oh, look, you can be happy in many ways of life in different ways.
Yeah,
I don't think
exactly.
you should be offended by
Exactly.
that.
Which, by the way, for anyone listening, I was the best man. If you want to watch the speech, it's
The
on
best
YouTube.
boy.
The best boy. You always have such a fat smile on your face when you talk about your time traveling.
Bro, traveling's
and how much you loved Asia. Like we did your stag do in Bangkok.
Yeah, Bangkok.
Which was fucking sick.
It was good. It would have been better in Hong Kong, but
Do you want to tell him? Yeah, you tell him.
Unfortunately, there was the riots at the time.
Yeah.
But I love Hong Kong. Hong Kong's an incredible city. I mean, Bangkok's a nice city as well. It's a bit more dirty than Hong Kong.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. But it's still good.
What is it about Asia? How did you get to Asia? Did you go from UK, you flew straight to Thailand or something?
Oh, mate. I after university, I was like, I don't like, I'd been to all these kind of interviews for like sales roles. Could you imagine me in a fucking sales role, mate? I'm like, if you don't want it,
make no sales.
If you don't want to buy it, don't buy it.
You'd be so bad.
So bad.
You'd be so bad.
So bad.
You'd be so bad. You'd be avoiding every phone
I'd be
call.
like, I can understand why you don't want to buy it. I wouldn't want to buy it
either. Yeah.
Because I just sympathise with them.
Yeah.
I understand, mate. I don't. It's rubbish. As well. So after that, I was like, and I was just going out all the time and just being a fucking idiot. And my mum was like, get out of England. So she was like, here's.
She said that. She said, get out of England.
Yeah, she's like, go travelling for a bit. It'd be good for you. So.
Sick. Legend.
Yeah, my mum said that. My mum's super down to earth. She's an incredible woman. And she said, go to Asia.
She looks great for her age.
My mum loves travelling as well. Yeah, she does, mate. Yeah, she looks after herself. I mean, she exercises and she used to row for England, mate. My mum's the beast. But yeah, my mum loves travelling, so she knows like how good it is for you. And she was like, just go away to Asia for a bit. And at the time, I had no return ticket, mate. I was just like, I'm gonna go there and never come back. I was just like, I'm going there until I run out of money.
How long did that last? The running out of money?
I had like £3,000. And it lasted me like 4 months until I got held up in China. And
£3,000 in 4 months,
mate. Food's like $1, like a US dollar, like $1.
You actually went traveling,
mate. I let go of everything.
Like you went.
I had no social media presence. I lost my phone. I actually
did you buy a new one?
Nah. The only way you could contact me was via email, and my mum, I had to contact her in China. I was like, I've been robbed. All my cash. I sent her an email. I was like, can you just send me a bit of money so I can get to Australia?
Sharp.
Yeah, man. Yeah. In Beijing. I was being a moron. I was just wandering around on my own and some guys were like, I was just like, bro, I was just like whatever.
Yeah.
So when we first arrived in Asia.
You were with a friend?
With a mate from high school who I'd messaged, and I was like, I'm going traveling. He's like, funny enough, I have some time. I'm going to come with you. I was like, cool, come along. I hadn't seen him in ages, man, like 4 years.
Okay.
Muslim guy, super nice bloke. Like, he doesn't drink at all. I was doing all the drinking for sure, mate. On my own. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, come. And when we first arrived, we were both a bit, like, self-restrictive. We were like, it takes you a while to let go, like totally let go.
Yeah.
And maybe it's a privilege. I don't know. I don't think it was. I just think we didn't care. And like he was like, I'm going to do a bit of studying because he was studying to be a doctor. And he was just like a bit of a gaff. He was like, I'm going to study, while I'm traveling, blah, blah, blah. Didn't study at all, man.
Yeah.
Just let go.
Yeah, of course.
And him and I often reflect back on that time of our life. And we were like, fuck.
You love that,
bro, because like hardly any time in life do you just let go of everything.
That's so true.
Everything. Like, I didn't contact the outside world. Like, we had no plans. Like, we had no worries. I remember people seeing me after I traveled, like, wow, you just look so healthy. I was like, because I've had no stress. You don't realize how much little things in life stress you out, like thinking about things. I mean, it's unavoidable because, what are you going to do? I mean, the scenario which we had created in Asia was an unrealistic one. You can't spend your entire life riding around on a fucking moped. But, nevertheless, it did show me a side of life where there was no material possessions and I was extremely happy, just kind of go with the flow.
Did you care about that stuff before?
No. Still don't really care about that stuff now.
Yeah, that's true. You don't.
I mean, I went through a phase.
I mean, you're doing very well for yourself, and you never really.
Well, I went through a phase of like maybe a year or so ago of being a little bit materialistic. I don't know.
With what though?
Like a watch and shit.
Yeah, but that's a timepiece. It's kind of.
Yeah, but it was one of these things, and now I don't fucking wear it because it's not that I think they're bad. I was just like, did I do that because I liked it, or did I do that to show to other people that I'm doing all right?
I think you bought it because you liked it. Because you've always talk about watches,
maybe,
and I think you should wear it with your chest, because you should, because who cares what people think?
No, it's not. It's not even about what people think. It's about whether it was me. Like, is that me? Is that me who really wanted it, or did I buy it because I was trying to impress other people? And that's why I don't wear it anymore, because I think I bought it because I wanted to impress other people, and then I was like,
But you know what? I also don't think that's a bad thing, because
no, I mean, I'm not judgmental of people
when you bought that,
who do want to impress other people. I'm just saying I just don't know if I want to wear it because of that.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But I remember when you first bought your timepiece, and I remember thinking, mate, that's such a nice way to say, you know what, I'm doing
You know what? When we first started buying those timepieces, when I first bought that first one, we all used to think people that wore those were dickheads.
Look at that dickhead with a Rolex. Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And
then you can afford one.
I remember showing James.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's going to fucking judge me for this.
Yeah.
And then he went and bought one. A bigger one.
Yeah.
Classic James.
Yeah.
Mine's bigger than yours.
What a wanker.
Yeah, dickhead.
He's going to get so much FOMO when he listens to this.
You reckon?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, he might.
I had to message him, man. I was like, sorry, bro. He goes, what? I was like, I'm doing a podcast with Shog. I feel bad, didn't it? He's going to get FOMO.
He's probably driving up right now.
He's probably driving up, or he's probably going, you fucking cunt. I'm going to go pod with someone. Yeah, exactly.
Sneaky bastard.
Yeah. That's what he's definitely saying.
No, so traveling was good, man. It was just,
I think
it was so good that every single year when the photos come back up on my newsfeed on Facebook, because I didn't have it Facebook. I wasn't connected.
Is the dinner ready? All right, cool.
We'll wrap
We'll wrap it up in a bit. Is that okay?
Is the liquid reduced on the chicken, or is it still very liquidy?
That's James Shaw's wife, by the way.
Pardon? It's still very liquidy. Okay. Is there enough for like sauce? All right. Just turn the oven off and just leave it in there. That'd be fine. We'll come in a second.
Thank you,
Thanks
Claire.
for
Love you.
Glad you said it. I should have said it.
It's all right.
I failed, man.
No, you didn't fail, bro.
I didn't fail, no.
But go on.
No, it's just every time it crops up. Like my mate was taking a lot of photos and crops up on the newsfeed. Every time it crops up, I'm like, I just send it to him. Like, do you fucking remember this?
But you know what though? You had those moments where you let go of everything, right?
And I had it with a mate.
Yeah,
that's important.
Yeah, I
like
think
it's good to have on your own, but like I feel like moments are so much more special when you share them with someone else who you're close with.
100%. I think that's why. Like, I'm obviously very close with you.
Yeah.
I think that's why me and Smith also have that connection, because when you're the one that told us. Do you remember how that day went?
Which day?
The day where Smith was having issues with his residency. I knew I was going to go back to London and I was done with Australia when I left my ex.
Yeah.
And you were like, you boys are going to Bali. And we're like, what the fuck?
Oh, yeah, I did. I was like, you just go, man. You're going to fucking love it.
Yeah. James Shaw was like, go to Bali and just work online there.
I was like, just go anywhere, mate, and just travel around and just be poor for a bit, or just do whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, because for me, it was like...
Stop worrying about shit.
Yeah, exactly. I was doing the JSA stuff.
I should have taken my own advice. I take it sometimes. I worry about things as well. I mean, everyone worries about things.
But you know what? We all need that element of...
you need an element of awareness to pull yourself out
awareness and reassurance from friends and people close
around
you.
Oh, yeah. You got to be around people who are good. You got to be around good people.
But when you said that, it was mad, because I left like... fucking full on business in the gym.
Yeah, you did.
I was doing JSA stuff. I like cut my wage by like $3,000 a week.
More than that.
You know? Yeah, exactly. So, but it was the best thing
Best thing.
I ever did. And I remember when...
And I'll never understand how good it was for you because I wasn't there.
I know.
Just like you won't understand how good it was for me, but I can imagine
Yes.
the feelings it makes you feel. It's like just like this feeling of just pure liberation.
Yes, that's exactly what it was.
But if you haven't had it, you just can't understand it. Like, there's just like years of being fucking held down, and now you're just free.
Yeah, we're lying at the cage.
It's amazing. Yeah, it is amazing. It is amazing. And traveling, unrestricted traveling, not going on fucking holiday.
It's different.
Because when you go on holiday, there's this thing that you're coming back.
Yeah.
It's like, I've just left my life for a bit, and I'm going to come back to it. We're talking leaving. You might never come back.
That's right.
and
it's so much fun.
Not even to the same life ever again.
Yeah, you don't.
Yeah,
and if you do, then I guess you didn't do it right. I don't know. Maybe I don't want to. Not you didn't.
A holiday
do it right.
is relaxing.
Yeah.
Traveling is transformational. Like it should change you as a person. When you go on holiday, you go for a break from your life. When you go traveling, it's totally change your way of looking at things.
Yeah.
And without doing fucking mushrooms or anything.
Yeah.
You don't need to do mushrooms or drugs to change your outlook on life. You need to be in a situation which is fairly shocking to your natural state of being, so that it challenges everything about what you know.
That you think is the norm or whatever.
That's right. You have to be emotionally shocked to have a pretty big change in the way you think.
Yeah. And I remember I was on the train with my little suitcase. I said bye to everyone at Fitness First. I said bye to you on that day or the night before. I was on the train in. Smith was getting an Uber to Sydney Airport.
You'd have been so excited.
I was excited, but I was also crying my eyes out because it was just a weird moment.
You're living one life.
Yeah, exactly. I'm also going to tell another story in a minute. But you messaged us.
Yeah.
You're like, how you doing, lads? And I was like, I'm crying on the train, man. People think like, oh, look at this guy. You're so excited going to the airport on holiday. I was like, no, bro, I'm leaving some old life behind and I don't know what's next, you know?
Yeah.
Smith was like, I've just said bye to my ex or whatever. He's left his whiteboard where it all happened for him, you know?
Yeah.
And he's upset and he's teary in the car. Gosh. And then you were like, well, lads, you guys are off to Bali. I'm off to the post office.
Yeah,
do you remember that?
Yeah, so I do remember that. The contrast.
Yeah, and me and Smith, I was like, I started laughing. I was like, oh, you know what? Fucking hell. I need to go live it up for this guy.
When you put it like that.
Yeah. When you put it like that, I was like, bro.
When you put it like that, I'm off to the fucking post office.
Oh, shit. We've had a lot of funny moments, man. We've had a lot of so many stories where even times where I had to move from my old house, James Shaw was the person that he was there for me a lot. You know, he was there for me a lot when I was going through a tough time. And there was a moment where he even took Claire's car, his lovely wife. He drove it to my old house where I had to leave. I kind of needed someone physically to remove me from that environment.
Yeah, you do.
And he was a person like, Darren, you need to leave. And I was like, oh, it's so hard. He's like, you need to leave. I was like, okay, cool. He literally drove to my old apartment in the Hills area, in Balcombe Hills in like Western Australia. Western Sydney. And we're literally Western Sydney.
Felt like it.
Yeah, it felt like it. Yeah, yeah, it felt like it. We were literally throwing my clothes into the boot.
I was just thinking in my mind, you're like there, like trying to select shit. Yeah, and I'm like thinking, you don't need any of this shit.
Yeah, man. You don't. You
just need yourself.
I just need myself. Just get me out. Yeah. I'm looking at photos with me and my ex, and I'm looking at all this stuff like, oh my god, do I need this? Do I need that? Shaw's like throwing things.
Were you trying to let go?
Yeah, I was like trying to like slowly let go, and like Shaw's ripping my heart out there, you know. And
I was just like, this is not gonna matter. You probably don't have any of that same stuff anymore,
bruv.
None of it, of course. That was my point at the time.
Did not need it at all.
No.
Are we gonna get in trouble now for dinner?
Yeah, we should probably have some dinner.
This was fun.
It was fun.
We will do it again for sure.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get James in.
Yeah, we'll do one with Smith, and we'll get into like deeper conversations for sure.
Third dynamic, yeah.
Third dynamic would be good. Wait for him to twist up some words, you know.
Yeah, make up some rubbish.
Maybe get him to get him to bite and shit.
Yeah.
This is why Smith's so nervous about us talking, because
we're the only
all
ones,
these close friends.
we're the only ones that can bully him.
Yeah, we bully, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly
And
what.
Luke.
Yeah, and Luke, yeah, because he always bites the hardest when we say something to him.
I know the true James.
Exactly.
I know exactly what he's like.
Guys, if you want to find James Shaw on socials, you can't. You can't.
Don't try.
Don't try. He's a good friend, and he's a fucking G.
And a loving husband.
A loving husband to a lovely wife, which we'll talk more about on another time.
Next time.
But I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I do hope you guys, like me, have friendships like this. And if you don't, go out your way to find it.
Yeah, totally.
Thank you, brother, for coming on.
No,
Peace.
all good.
Love.